tonight. Oh, welcome. I hope you feel comfortable and you enjoy your time here. And you're going to enjoy your meal later, I know, because it smells great. Oh, and somebody over here. Hi. Yeah, lovely again that we've got somebody else new. So how about saying to the person next to you, it's good to be here tonight.
It's good to be here tonight.
Good. Well, what I want to I'm just going to talk for 10-15 minutes before you get your food. I just wanted to share with you tonight what happened in our church yesterday. Whoa. Yeah. Wow. It was an amazing morning. It really was an amazing time. It's been a long time since I've been in a church where there's been stuff seeing new lives change dramatically. 16 people died and 16 people rose again in new life in Jesus Christ. 16 people found new life. 16 people decided that they wanted to go through the symbolism of water baptism, which is having a good dunking down in the water, dying to your old life, your old past, all the stuff that upset you and hurt you and the pains, and rising to a new life, to a new birth, to a new start with Jesus Christ. And as I watched, there was about 16 people. There was a few that came out of the congregation that had come in, and they decided there and then that they wanted to join the others and go through the waters of baptism. And as I watched, and I saw this crowd of people, all different age groups, different backgrounds, and saw the joy. I've never seen so much joy in people. And the stories that each one of them had to share with us, their backgrounds. Some had come from a background of crime, background of addiction, a background of childhood abuse and suffering, a background of loneliness, and life was just to them rubbish growing up as a child. They were neglected, they didn't have anybody really to care for them. And then they found Jesus. The stories were astonishing and amazing, and how that then God had found them, they turned to Jesus and they'd found this new life. And it was as I was watching them go down and come up, and they were all shouting when they came up, Jesus is Lord, Lord of their lives now. It was just so wonderful. And a Bible verse came to me. And I felt God was showing me something new again. And it's what God said to a man in the Bible who was called Jeremiah. And he said to him, I want you to go to the potter's shop and I'll speak to you there. So Jeremiah did as God told him, and he found the potter working at his wheel. But the jar he was making did not turn out as he had hoped. So he crushed it into a lump of clay again and started over. Now, these people, like myself, had found that doing things their own way, following what they thought was right or wrong or whatever, hadn't worked out. And that their lives had become marred, had become damaged through things that had happened to them, scarred. And they felt they'd come to a point, like I had come to a point, where I don't think there's anything left for me in this life. Can things be changed? Can I start life again? And this lovely message that God is giving here is saying, you give your life to me. Just give it to me, and I will astonish you with what I can do with it. I can take all the bad stuff, I can take all that hurt, I can take all those cracks, I can take all those damages, and I can make you new again. And that's what he's done with me. And yesterday was such a reminder of where I'd been, and then someone came into my life and told me about Jesus and how Jesus could turn my life around if I would only trust him and suddenly give up doing things my way and come to God his way. And as I heard each testimony of each one of them saying, I want to do things God's way now, I want to have Jesus as Lord, I was reminded again of the power of God to transform lives. If you think tonight your life can't change, if you think damage in the past can't be healed, then I challenge you to come to the God who can do all things. You see, as I listened, I realised they'd all found three things that I had found. They'd all found in this new life with Jesus a new peace, a peace that they'd never known before. They'd found a new purpose, and they'd found new priorities. You see, as they knew their past had been forgiven, all that stuff had been washed away, they got a peace that nothing else could give them, or no one else could give them. You see, they decided to stop living their own way and do things God's way. And you probably all know that famous Frank Sinatra song, I Did It My Way. And where my husband's buried in the cemetery at Polton, if you go along there, you'll find a gravestone, and someone's got the epitaph there, and they put on it, I did it my way. And then if you go to my husband's grave, there's a different epitaph. He did it the Jesus way. And that's our decision. We have to make that decision. We can either do things God's way or just go our own way. That's what God leaves to us to decide. And there's another great little thing that was somebody wrote on a tombstone, and they put, remember, friend, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, you soon will be. Prepare for death and follow me. Now, someone disagreed with that, and they wrote underneath, to follow you, I'm not content until I know which way you went. Now, if you look around this world today, I think we can all agree, even if we disagree about a lot of things, that people like to do things their own way, don't they? And then we all want to do things our own way, then we start disagreeing and falling out. And you've only got to look at Syria for an example of that, haven't we? I mean, what a shambles! Everybody wants to do things their way. And the result is that needless people are dying. Needless people are suffering. If only everyone could agree to do things God's way, the Jesus way. Love one another. Take care of one another. And yesterday, those people who were making that decision, they got enough of doing things their own way. They tried their own way and it hadn't worked out. And now they're coming the Jesus way. And they've submitted their lives like clay in the hands of that potter who can make anything out of that clay and shape it into something new and special. What about you tonight? Have you tried lots of ways and nothing's worked? Would you tonight consider thinking about doing things God's way, coming the Jesus way? Because you'll not only find a peace, you're going to find a new purpose. Now, two of the people that were baptised yesterday were two people that my team called Better Together, that goes out on the street on a Saturday afternoon, we connected with. And those two people have found new purpose in their lives. They're in their 30s. And they made that decision yesterday to go through the waters of baptism, get rid of all the past and all the rubbish and come up to a new life with Jesus. And a girl spoke yesterday and she said she found direction in life at last. She said her life had been like rubbish. And it was like now she'd found the compass pointing her to Jesus. She'd got a new direction, a new purpose to live. Instead of just wanting to give up on life, she now wanted to find out what God could do with her life. Now the guy, he'd actually been in prison and he'd found God in prison, but when he'd come out, he kind of slithered away because he'd found it hard to connect with other people or find a church or find a family. And now he's come back again And he's coming to God and saying, I want to be water baptized. I want to recommit my life to you and find out the purpose you have for me. And he felt yesterday the purpose God is giving him is to go back into prison ministry and talk to the people there, to the guys there, and help them the way he's being helped. So he's got a purpose and he's got a peace. You see, no matter how messed up your life can be, when you let the master potter get hold of it, you just keep giving him your life, he'll do something really special with it. And then you get new priorities finally. You see, suddenly all these people, things that had been really important before, suddenly didn't seem important now. What was important to them was to follow Jesus and to try to live a life like he lived on this earth, being concerned about other people, not all about me, me, me. We live in a world where it's all me, 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 isn't it, all the time? What can I have? It doesn't matter about the other person, they just trample over you. I've seen it so many times. That's not the Jesus way. That's not what Jesus taught. We have a board on the street, we say, if you agree with this, come and sign it, which is Jesus said, love one another. And the amount of people that have come up to us and said, if only people would do that, it'd be a different world. I said, well, if we just all start one at a time doing things God's way, the Jesus way, we could transform our communities, our societies. Just want to read out a little poem to close. There was a couple who were passing by a tea shop and they saw a beautiful teacup in the window. And they went in and they said to the lady in the shop, we've never seen such a beautiful teacup. And could we have a look at it? So the lady handed it to them. Suddenly the teacup spoke. You don't understand, it said. I haven't always been a teacup. There was a time when I was red and I was clay. My master took me and rolled me and patted me over and over and over, and I yelled out, let me alone. But he only smiled, not yet. Then I was placed on a spinning wheel, the teacup said, and suddenly I was spun around and around and around. Stop it, I'm getting dizzy, I screamed. But the master only nodded and said, not yet. Then he put me in the oven. I never felt such heat. I wondered why he wanted to burn me, and I yelled and knocked at the door. I could see him through the opening, and I could read his lips as he shook his head. Not yet. Finally, the door opened and he put me on the shelf and I began to cool. Oh, that's better, I said. But then he brushed and he painted me all over. The fumes were horrible. I thought I would choke. Stop it, I cried. He only nodded. Not yet. Then he suddenly put me back into the oven. Not like the first one. This one was twice as hot, and I knew I would suffocate. I begged, I pleaded, I screamed, I cried. All the time I could see him through the opening, nodding his head and saying, not yet. Then I knew there wasn't any hope. I would never make it. I was ready to give up, but the door opened and he took me out and placed me on the shelf. An hour later, he handed me a mirror, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that was me. It's beautiful. I'm beautiful. I want you to remember, the master potter said, I know it hurts to be rolled and patted, but if I had left you alone, you would have dried up. I know it made you dizzy to spin around on the wheel, but if I had stopped, you would have crumbled. I knew it hurt, and it was hot and disagreeable in the oven, but if I hadn't put you there, you would have cracked. I knew the fumes were bad when I brushed and painted you all over, but if I hadn't done that, you would have never hardened. You would never have had any colour in your life. And if I hadn't put you back in that second oven, you wouldn't survive for very long, because the hardness would not have held. Now you are a finished product. You are what I had in mind when I first began with you. Tonight, if you could just give your life to this master potter, it's simple. Just come to Jesus and say, I want to get rid of all that past. I want this new life. I want this peace and a new purpose, so that new priorities will come. And with new priorities come a fulfillment and a joy you've never experienced before. So I want you to really consider that tonight. And I'm going to be here afterwards, and if that's you, if you want a prayer, or if you want to chat to me more about any questions that this talk might have aroused in your mind, please come and talk to me. I hope I'm approachable. And we've got some great little booklets that we've made that we use on the street now, just little faces, and it just gives you the Jesus story. The little faces. First one is a happy face because God loves you. The second one is a sad face because something's terribly wrong in this world. Sin. People take their own ways and cause trouble and trauma. But Jesus came to die for our sins on the cross so that we can live a new life. And the last one is the question mark. It's your decision. Only you can make that. I can't make that for you. That's something you've got to do. And the back of it explains it a little bit more. So if you want one of those, you're really welcome to take one. So I'm just going to finish with a quick prayer and hand back to the musicians. Father, tonight I just thank you so much for Jesus, who is the master potter. And if we just put our lives into his hands, he can reshape us, he can remold us, he can take all the scars and all the hurts and turn us into like brilliant stars for you, shining in this world, shining in the darkness, so that we can reach out to others that are crying out, who will show us any good, who will show us a new life, who will give us peace. Lord, I just pray tonight, if there's anyone that's got this in their heart, questions, fear, confusion about what life's all about, I pray, Jesus, you'll touch their heart now, and that I can have a little chat with them afterwards, and we can just speak about Jesus, and they can receive Jesus in their hearts and lives. You can do that right now as I'm praying. If you want Jesus in your heart, just say, Jesus, I want you. I want you to take this life, take all the rubbish, get rid of it, and give me a new life, and make me something beautiful in this world for you. We ask all this in your name, Jesus. Amen. Thank you so much for listening so well. Well done.